Yeah, temperature's still below freezing here in Blowing Rock. Take a look right here if you don't believe me. That says -4 degrees. That's how cold it is here in Blowing Rock, and frankly, it hasn't gotten any warmer throughout the morning. Now, to give you a better illustration of exactly how cold it is, take a look at this. Bought this drink earlier this morning, set it outside my car for a couple hours. It is completely frozen over, as you can see, holding it upside down. Absolutely nothing coming out. That's how cold it is out here this morning. You can see these branches are actually very, very, very big. I weigh about 200 pounds. I'm standing on one of the big branches that's actually snapped from another one and is still supporting my weight. I'm trying not to move too much so it won't break here on live TV. But again, a very big tree here on Dade Street came down. 4 people inside the home, 2 taken to the hospital, potentially life-threatening injuries. We'll stay on top of this and update you with any new information that we get all morning on air and online at WBTV.com. Reporting live in Northeast Charlotte, Ashton, Pellom, WBTV on your side. Yeah, Molly, police say it was around 90 degrees when they found those kids in a car in the Walmart parking lot yesterday, and they've been in the car for over 20 minutes. Now, experts say in 90-degree weather, over 20 minutes, your car can get as hot as 120 degrees. We set up this thermostat in our car 10 minutes ago. The initial starting point was 94 degrees. Set it in here 10 minutes, no AC. We're going to see how hot it can get right after this story. So back out here live, I have the thermostat in my hand, and it's over 100 degrees now just in 10 minutes inside of this hot car. I've seen it peak at even 104, so that's a 10-degree difference just in 10 minutes, and that's what police want you to keep in mind the next time you think about leaving your child or pet in a car unattended. Reporting live in Lancaster County, Ashton, Pellom, WBTV on your side. Hey Molly, well, you remember when you needed one of these to get around campus? Your student ID, that's me at West Virginia as a freshman. Well, the folks here at Winthrop are getting away from that tradition by offering students a new eye scanning service in hopes they ditch the plastic. Yeah, Christine, the conditions are starting to get a little bad. As Al was mentioning, the freezing rain and sleet is starting to come down. Look at this on top of my car. This is what I've been dealing with all morning. Ice. You can see how thick that is. Yeah, Jamie, very powerful tools here in the command center. It almost looks like something out of a science fiction movie with all the big screen TVs and monitors here. Officials can use this technology to track weather and power outages right down to your street. And we talked to one South Carolina dealer who says he makes sure guns get into the right hands from his shop. Good morning, John. Yeah, how sweet it is when the city of Charlotte wakes up and reads this headline in the Charlotte Observer. Our news partners, Panthers, back-to-back champions. You see it there as they get the win over the Atlanta Falcons. This is the first time in the NFC South Division's history that the same team won and made it to the playoffs in back-to-back years. Now, hey, good morning, John. Yeah, imagine going to a car wash and seeing one of these, a USPS Postal Service box full of hundreds of pieces of mail, letters, packages, and everything, sitting at a car wash on the floor, scattered, soaking wet. Well, that's what happened with this Charlotte man. Hey, good morning, John. Yeah, I'm here at the Bojangles here on the plaza. I'm here with, as you can see behind me, these are fast food workers who want the minimum wage raised higher for to feed their family, to feed their children. I have a protester with me right now. Her name is Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa. 1 second. I'm here with Kwanzaa. She's a protester here. Tell me a little bit. Tell me what organization you're a part of and what you want to see.
Right now, a mother remembers her 11-year-old son 11 months after he died at this Boone motel.
And tonight she speaks to WBTV for the first time, describing her pain and her project to protect others. Good evening and welcome. I'm Paul Cameron.
I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Nice to have you with us. It was June 2013. Jeannie Williams and her son Jeffrey were staying in a room at this Best Western in Boone. She felt sick. He wasn't responding. Carbon monoxide was seeping into their room from the pool water heater. It was a story we all related to. We've all stayed in hotels, never thinking twice about whether we could die from a toxic gas. That's why Jeffrey's mother and father in Rock Hill are working to hold hotels and motels accountable. They spoke to our South Carolina reporter Ashton Pellom today. Ashton, what does this family want done in the future?
Yeah, Maureen, and speaking with the family, you could still see and feel the emotion as they talked about their son, Jeffrey. Now, they hope a foundation set up in their name can help prevent another family from going through what they've endured. The saying goes, time heals all wounds, but the wounds are still fresh for the parents of 11-year-old Jeffrey Williams, who died almost a year ago in this Boone Best Western hotel.
It's day by day, sometimes hour by hour.
Jeannie Williams and her son were staying at the hotel for the night before picking up her daughter from a camp. She says she remembers feeling sick in the room. As her symptoms continued to get worse, she struggled to call for help.
I tried to open the door and I was calling for Jeffrey to come, but then that's the last thing I remember.
Jeffrey never responded to her calls. He died as a result of carbon monoxide poisoning from a faulty pool water heater installed below their room. She says she misses the intimate moments with her son the most.
Being able to hold him and touch him and, his smile, his sense of humor, just, he was a wonderful, wonderful boy.
In memory of their late son, Williams and her husband Jeff started the Jeffrey Lee Williams Foundation. The purpose of the foundation has 4 pillars: to educate the public about carbon monoxide, provide carbon monoxide detectors to families who can't afford them, assist fire departments to have CO detectors installed on their trucks, and lastly, start an online list of hotels that have carbon monoxide detectors in each room.
Nothing will ever bring us any kind of return on this incident. It won't do. But we can honor Jeffrey, and we can hopefully help other people from ever having to deal with something along carbon monoxide lines.
Though the Williams say they have no ill will towards hotel management, they are hoping the legal system will provide some form of justice in their child's death.
I want there to be accountability, and I want justice. I mean, that's part of the system. Is to have that justice. People did some things that they shouldn't have done, and they need to be held accountable for.
Now, I asked Jeannie, what does she want the public to take away from her story tonight? And she said 3 things. Love your children, never take them for granted, and make sure their safety is your top priority. Reporting live in Rock Hill, Ashton, Pellom, WBTV, on your side.
Yeah, we hear her loud and clear. Thank you, Ashton.
Now at 5:30, we're hearing from the 5-year-old Lancaster County boy who was stranded in the Catawba River for nearly 2 hours in the freezing cold last night as his dad went to get some help. Hello, I'm Kristen Miranda.
And I'm Jamie Bull. Glad you're with us. All new at 5:30. South Carolina reporter Ashton Pellom spoke with the boy and his dad about this scary ordeal.
Little 5-year-old Connor Dixon is all smiles now, but that wasn't the case last night. That's when Connor, his dad Dennis, and their dog Diesel went for their typical walk along the Catawba River near the Nitro Lee Dam.
It's nothing new. I mean, I've been there all summer. We've been out there fishing.
Despite warning signs of rapid water rise, the 3 headed out, and as the evening continued, the river began to swell and currents picked up.
Next thing you know, all the bigger gaps that we had to leap across, they're washing away now. And, there's a whole foot of 2 feet, 1 foot of water coming under the wall now, and we were stuck.
I was hungry and I was cold.
That's when Dixon says the only way the 3 would survive was if he left Connor and the dog on a tree while he swam for help.
Man, I've done 2 tours in 2 different countries, and I'm telling you what, it's the toughest decision I had to make.
My dad said, if the dog gets off of the thing, don't matter what, don't get off.
Dixon eventually made it to shore and flagged down help. It took nearly 2 hours for rescue squads to find Connor, but thanks to a reflective collar around Diesel's neck, rescuers spotted the 2 in the dark. It was a frightening experience for all 3, but one that made Dixon realize a higher power was looking out for him and his family.
I don't know if you're a believer or not, but I can tell you somebody's definitely out there. You call him what you want, but he was there with me last night.
In Lancaster County, Ashton Pellom, WBTV, on your side. It's all smiles now for Cassidy Hunter and his 2-year-old St. Bernard named Nala. But that wasn't the case just last week. That's when Hunter said Nala escaped through a fence at his home. A couple of days later, Hunter found the lost dog ad for Nala on Craigslist. He called who he thought was a good Samaritan, but that's when he says things turned sour.
They were refusing to give up our dog and saying that we had to give them $300 to get the dog back. I mean, I was literally like in denial, and I had to call him back twice just to make sure I understood what the stipulations were.
Hunter then called the authorities. According to York County Sheriff's reports, a deputy arrived to this house where the dog was being held. Deputies asked this woman, Christy Schmidt, to hand over the dog, but she refused, saying she paid $300 in vet bills and wouldn't turn over the pet until she was reimbursed. According to reports, that's when Schmidt was arrested and charged with larceny.
Whether the dog is out and they've lost it, they didn't ask you to take their dog to the vet. So unfortunately the bill is on that person, and you have to give the dog back. You can't hold the dog or the pet for ransom, so to speak.
And I stopped by the house where Nala was taken, and while Schmidt wasn't home, her mother was, and she put me in contact with the daughter via telephone.
I need to talk to my lawyer first because I have a court date, and so I need to understand from her, what I can talk about at this point.
As for these two, Hunter says he's glad to have his best friend back, who was a gift from his wife. You see, his first St. Bernard died a week before Hunter was deployed for the Army. Hunter says he also has plans to train Nala as a service dog to help him deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. In Rock Hill, Ashton, Pellom, WBTV, on your side.
Last week, we told you about a Gaston County mother of 4 who had her purse stolen from her unlocked car as she ran inside very quickly to drop off her kids at daycare. Inside the purse, Christmas shopping money, an iPad, even a debit card. After our original story aired, a viewer called us and wanted to buy the family Christmas gifts. WBTV's Ashton Pellom was there when the two met up this morning.
What did you say? Thank you.
What looked like to be a very dismal holiday season for Melissa Lynch and her family turned completely around Christmas morning. Last week, Lynch had her purse stolen out of her unlocked car while she dropped her daughter off at daycare. Inside that purse, Christmas shopping money.
That's for Alexia.
Christian Barnhart saw our initial story and immediately sprung into action.
I grew up with a single mother that was always struggling to make ends meet. And we never went without. Somebody always, even though it seemed like we were, someone always stepped in. And when I saw it, I was like, well, this is my chance,
Barnhart got in touch with Lynch and this morning delivered gifts to her, her husband, and her 4 children.
And I know that they're the ones that said it doesn't matter as long as we have each other. But I am so glad that they got something.
And Lynch even became emotional while describing to me what it means that churches, neighbors, even strangers stepped up to help her family have a Merry Christmas.
It definitely restores the faith in humanity and proves that God does provide.
As for Barnhart, he says he's happy he could put a smile on the family's faces during this period of uncertainty.
To see the looks on their faces, not having any family of my own right now to do anything for is just, I figured that's something I could do, and it was nice.
In Gaston County, Ashton Pellom, WBTV, on your side.